Yes, can.
Okay, so tonight topic, like I said, I will be talking about optimal health. So when I send out the promotion, and also I send out the invitation to some of my friends, or when I share in my social media, I also ask, okay, what is actually means by optimal health? Is it when we focus on exercise, we are considered healthy, or when we are focusing on our diet, we are considered healthy? Or when we focus on our psychologically, okay, probably our mental or depressions that is quite common nowadays during this pandemic lockdown time, okay? But of course, many will also try to say that the safest answer is of course to like manage everything well, then it's optimal health, right? But is that the true answer that I'm going to share with you guys? Okay, so by knowing, but before I go into that, okay, I just want to re-emphasize the importance of achieving optimal health, because by having optimal health itself, right, it actually act as a prevention towards a lot of chronic diseases, and also reducing the risk of us getting all these illness in the future when we age and then we grow older. Okay, so as the saying always goes, and a lot of people have heard this saying before also, prevention is better than cure. So back to the topic just now when I said, is it the safest answer is to answer that we just jaga everything, then that means we are in the optimal health? That is actually, I would say, partly correct. Why? Is because a lot of time we know that the safest answer is to take care of everything, but why we didn't? Okay. So what I'm going to address tonight is basically more on the concept. Okay. It is only when we understand the concept of optimal health, then we will know that how to practice it, how to so-called like take care all the things that we mentioned just now. Okay, because if let's say we don't understand the concept very clear and in an easy way, right, we might know that the theoretically is like take care of everything, but we didn't do it is because we don't know the importance of it. Secondly, we don't know the whole picture of it, the big idea of it. Okay, so today I just try to put it in the like a example so that everyone is very easy to understand. So imagine today we are heading to a destination, okay, and this is the road that heading to that destination, and then this is the car that we are all in. So if, for example, now, okay, ease up already, the SOP, everyone, okay, probably we go to like take a breath, okay, we get a short getaway. Probably this car is heading to Port Dickson, I don't know, to just go and enjoy the seaside breeze, all that. Okay, but halfway, suddenly the driver, okay, fall asleep, okay, or didn't put full focus or concentration, and then it skipped out from the road, okay, then the car now is like off-road, okay. So if let's say now I ask you, right, what is the first reaction that you will do? Okay, definitely we will try to like steer the steering back to the our main road, right? If let's say you suddenly awake already and then you notice that, oh, I'm far off the road already, I have to steer back to the road. But just by looking this simple example, we can ask ourselves actually, okay, the reason we steer back as an auto reaction, right, is because of I would say because of these three very obvious reasons. First, we know very well the consequences of not doing so. Am I correct? If today we like divert away from the road already, the consequences we are quite clear, right? If we are lucky, probably we just injured ourselves and then we bang into something. If we are unlucky, probably it might take our life away. So that is the reason. It's very automatic. Our brain has been programmed that we will steer the steering back to the main road. Okay, second, it's also very obvious. We are used to the habit already. Okay, this is what we being trained for and what we being educated for. Okay, when we first get our driving license, right? And before we get our driving license, our instructor always tell us, keep to the lane, follow the line, all that. So this is like already implant in our brain and in our subconscious mind that this is something that we will actually go to whenever there's an emergency or whenever there's an uncertainty. This is the right way that we will actually react and things that we conceive as correct. Okay, and lastly, we know where we are heading to initially, okay? Because we are always clear where we are going to, right? So like this example itself, we are heading to Port Dickson. Okay, so if I say you skid away from the main road, right? Even though there's no obstacle, nothing to bang on, your car won't bang into anything, right? We will still go back to the main road because that's the road that will actually lead us to the Port Dickson, right? So if let's say even it's a safe road, if we divert from the main road, it's still safe, we will not continue that road, right? Because we know eventually it will not bring us to Port Dickson, and we don't know how that actually off-road route will bring us to that place, right? Okay, but if today we put this example, if we put this example to our health, how many of us are sure that we are still on the main road towards the destination, which is to stay healthy, to stay happily until even when we age, okay? Probably when we are 80s, when we are 90s, and so on, okay? How many of us are sure we are still on track? We didn't divert, okay? It is very hard to tell, right? Because the concept and also the awareness is different, okay? There's a gap in terms of what we know and what we practice. So from here, you can see there are few things, chronic diseases, okay? Probably we will have some, already have some symptoms of not having a healthy body, but just that is so minor that a lot of time we ignore it. And then probably nowadays, something more important, which is when we talk about immune system, okay? So we probably divert already from the main road, but then the sign and the symptom is not strong enough that probably like weakens immunity, or that we don't really feel it. So we are still okay, we still continue to drive that way, okay? Although we have diverted ourselves from that main road. Okay, so what I'm trying to bring out today is again, the concept, why we will okay. When it's driving, we will automatically go back. But when it's come to our own health, right? Why is okay sometimes for us to like keep driving far and far away from the main road is because of these three reasons that I will share with you. First is ignorance. Okay, so when we talk about ignorance, most of the time is caused by misinformation. So nowadays, internet full with a lot of information. Okay, so if let's say we didn't do fact check and we don't really go into details whenever people share us something, or we didn't like analyze ourselves, also have our own judgment on that, then we might end up in this first category, which is ignorance. We might get the wrong information and then we thought that it's okay to practice whatever we are still practicing now. Second is because of the bad habit. Okay, so if you refer to the right hand side just now, we said we are used to the habit, that's why we will steer immediately back to the right track. But in terms of health, it's not something like driving car, right? It's not something that we are being trained to live healthily. Okay, it's a lot to do with the environment that we grow up with, okay, the family education on that, the exposure that we are exposed to, our social circle, what people input to us, that actually build out our habits. Okay, so if let's say all this time we have been like having the bad habit, I just give a simple example. For example, a person that normally skip breakfast, okay, he will think that it's totally fine to skip breakfast because that is already a habit for him. And probably, like I said earlier, he don't feel anything. He feel it's okay. Even without breakfast, I still feel I still feel energetic. Okay, I don't feel anything. You tell me skip breakfast will have obesity. I don't have obesity. Okay, so that is the second very strong reason why people will steer away from the mirror and still they are okay with it. And third, lastly, is there's no misinformation. There's no habit built up. It's merely people tend to look away. Okay, we just look away because we are more comfort in doing whatever is not on the right track. Okay, we enjoy doing things that which is didn't put our health at the priority lah. Okay, so this is something very common as well. Okay, this is especially true when sometimes when we talk to people, oh, it's important to take care of the hygiene or that. Then people say, no lah, no need to take care of hygiene because you just get yourself used to the germs and virus, all those things. Is it true? During this COVID time, are you sure you want to try contracted with the COVID and build up the immune system? No, right? Of course, we want to build it the right way through vaccination, through our own body system, build up the immunity, all that. Okay, So just now I said already, these three factors will actually make us divert far away from our right track. And how to actually correct that is through targeting all these three. First, get the right information. Like I mentioned just now, if there's a misinformation, make sure we always have the official source. We always cross-check to the people who is actually expert in that field. And then for bad habits, there's is quite challenging, okay? But the only way is actually to overcome and also to break the cycle. If we know that today, whatever we're practicing, for example, skipping breakfast is definitely will not pose good to our health, then we will need to be that one person to break the cycle. And actually to break a cycle of habit, there's always a famous rules out there that you practice that thing for 21 days and then you will be able to keep a new habit. So it's as simple as that, just that the matter of whether we want to do that or not. And lastly, when we say look away, actually this is the toughest one because this is like people deliberately don't want to look at the main road, which is the safe one, okay? They always tend to look away and say that whatever I'm doing now is okay, whatever I'm doing now is fine, okay? They try to reassure themselves that this is the right one, okay? It's not from external misinformation, but it's internally from themselves. So how to actually overcome this? I think there's only self-reflection, reflection mirror, okay? And to do that reflection mirror is basically we ourselves have to check ourselves with others, okay? It's just like when we are driving, you look at your back mirror because you want to know, is there any hazard or any danger that approaching us, right? Same goes to our life. We need this back mirror to actually look back what we have gone through. Is it really okay for us to just like look away? And is it really that we are living healthily? And this is something that we want to take responsible for our future. So these are the things that I think to correct the mindset. And then definitely the other parts of it is actually keeping ourselves on track. It will actually ensure why I always mention it's important for us to stir back to the right track is because by keeping ourselves on track, that's the only way to minimize the risk, okay? And also the only way that we can prevent things from happening, okay? Because if let's say we go to check the statistic of everything, okay, the cardiovascular disease, the obesity issue, okay, the colon disease, colon cancer in Malaysia, all that is very high, okay? And those is not happening in one day time, okay? It's accumulation of all this ignorance, accumulation of these bad habits, accumulation of this look away, okay? And when we are on the right direction, then only we can talk about how to improve the deficiency, okay? Because optimal health is all about closing the gap and improving the deficiency. If we are not able to stir back even to the right track and we talking about improving our body deficiency, that is something like you drift away from your main road and you say probably I won't get injured, okay? It's something like that is so ridiculous, okay? And number three, when the gaps become bigger and bigger, it's become harder for us to like stir back on track, okay? So I think today we should feel fortunate if let's say today we have make up our mind to actually want to undergo a healthy lifestyle, we want to have a balanced diet, all that. That's great, because if the earlier we start, the easier for us to stay on track, right? Because the moment we divert far away from the right track already, probably if you don't have the GPS, you don't know how to go back to the main road also, okay? So this, I hope with this example, right, at least the first concept that we must get it right is to keep ourselves on the right track, okay? And this is the second slide which I will share in terms of the gaps, okay? So when we talk about the gaps that we have, right, and the gaps that we want to fix, right, what are those gaps actually? So I think pictures speak 1,000 words. You can see from this picture, probably the same person, it could end up differently because of the different route that they took, as I mentioned in the earlier slide, okay? So this gap is basically just, believe it or not, every gap and the diversions, right, can be stirred back to the optimal, okay? It's just the matter we want to overcome that three factors that I tell or not. If let's say today we want to overcome and we feel like we want to achieve that optimal health until the end of our life, then we can actually do it easily, because the concept is actually, I'll tell you the concept later. Okay, so here also another two examples that you can see, living a healthy, optimal health. And also, if let's say we just look away, we just ignorant, then probably all this is building out in our organ. Okay, all this you cannot see from the appearance, we cannot see from outside. Everything is happening inside our body. So that is also the reason why when we drift away from road, when we're driving, we will immediately stir back, because we see the death and the hazard very obvious. Okay, everything is visualized. But when it comes to health, it's so invisible that a lot of people take it for granted. Okay, because it's happening inside, you don't see anything, then you feel okay, you don't feel you don't feel uncomfortable, you thought everything is fine. Okay, until certain people they go for routine body checkup, then they will know. Okay, but if let's say people who don't have that habit, and then probably after 5 or 6 years they go check up, probably, okay, if let's say unfortunate one, probably they already built out some very chronic disease. Okay, so the concept I try to simplify as simple as possible, and I have also put it into a visual way in the next slide where everyone can understand easily. So, but in words, it actually means that cut on what is excess and also add on what is lack. Okay, to me, optimal health is all about this. And is when we talk about cut and add, right, it's not only on diet, it's not only on nutrition, but it's on overall. And that overall can also be summarized into 4 categories, which I will share later. So before that, I want to also improve on the understanding on optimal, which I put in graphic way. I hope everyone can understand better. So let's say today, this bar, green bar, is the optimal state that we want to achieve, right? Okay. And normally, I would say normally, okay, majority and in general, because according to all the statistics, okay, even like in 2014 up to the latest one, 2019, the information that we have, the statistic is always 90% of the people in Malaysia, okay, don't take enough vegetable and fruits. And probably a lot of time we thought that we are in that 10%, but we are not. We just sometimes in the 10%. Most of the time we are in the 90%. Okay, so if let's say, okay, I just put quite okay already. I put the bar, the green bar is quite high also here. Okay, just to give you an illustration. So we also have a lot of bad habits also. Okay, as a normal human being, we will have this bad habit. Sometimes we also tends to be ignorance, all that. So this build up the red color portion. Okay, so with this composition, right, it's impossible. It's very hard for us to achieve the optimal health. And a lot of time when people don't have a big picture or they don't understand optimal health completely, right, they thought that, okay, I have all this bad habit, I just take away. Okay, I just reduce it. Okay, if let's say I like barbecue, I instead of taking it every day, now I take it only once per week. Okay, if I like hot pot, okay, I used to eat every 2 days once. Okay, now I just take every month one time. Okay, and then people who probably want to go for weight management, they say, oh, I try to cut lah. I cut all my carbs. I cut all the high fat food, high calorie food. So end of the day, do they actually achieve the optimal just by doing the cutting? To me, it will still not be that optimal, because from this graphic itself, you can see the green color bar is still short from whatever optimal state that our body needs. Okay, so that is also that also explain, right, in real life, we saw a lot of example, people like striving so hard to like cut their weight, but after cutting so many things, they still struggle to put down the pounds, all that. Okay, to me, I think it's not only about cut, it's always about having that cut and at the same time having the add also. Okay, so instead of just cutting, we need to learn how to add as well, add the correct one, so that, and then as a normal human being, again, we will still have this bad habit. So when we compare in this graphic, right, you'll see the last example will more likely to achieve the optimal health, and then with that access, it can actually help to recover, repair whatever damage and also the previous backlog that has been built up in the body. Okay, that is the way to actually improve our optimal health. Okay, if we really face it, right, we know that 90% didn't take enough. and definitely E.A.R.N is part of it. Okay, so before I go further, I also take this opportunity to share some of the very good thoughts and also ideas from Rambeau. Okay, so for new friends who just join our session, probably I'll need to do some introduction about Rambeau. So Rambeau is basically the founders for Nutrilite. Okay, Nutrilite, this brand is a very famous brand because it's 80 over years already, and is one of the most reputable brand in nutrition. Okay, so Rambeau is the founder for this brand, and eventually Amway partners together with Nutrilite and is now one of our range. Okay, so what Carl's actually share in when he's still around, these are some of the thoughts and also concept that he shared, which I like so very much also. So one first point is actually he mentioned perhaps disease are caused by what missing in the food and not what is in the food. Okay, and in the bracket is I add myself lah. Okay, because this statement made by him, right, is like long time ago. Back then there's no like pesticide, there's no widely used on pesticide, there's no widely used on processed food, there's no GMO, all that. Okay, so back then this statement itself is already very powerful, because a lot of time we thought that we are eating something wrong or not, but most of the time is what I mentioned in the earlier graphic. It is what missing in the food in our diet that actually causing the disease, the accumulation of all this shortage, body not able to function optimally. Okay, of course, and today I adding in because we also need to take note in terms of all the add-ons that we have in our food, all the preservative artificial things that we have to take care. Okay, and second point he mentioned, he had a strong belief in the holistic approach to health. He believes that vitamins, mineral, and trace elements and plant concentrate work together in the body, and suspected that hundreds or thousands of important material in plant yet to be discovered by scientists are also very important in human nutrition. Okay, so that is why we always have phytonutrients in Nutrilite series. Okay, because phytonutrient is basically a very large area whereby scientists haven't discovered what are the beneficial to our body, but we definitely need those material, just that it has not been break down into nutrition form. Okay, some of the already proven famous one, okay, already proven that it's beneficial to our human health, which are common one. For example, lutein is one of the phytonutrients which is very famous. We know that lutein is very beneficial to our eyes, to our general health. Okay, so this is the philosophy of Rambeau, that actually the origin of the fruits, the phytonutrients that we have in our in the fruits and vegetables is important for our health. Okay, and third, he mentioned good health is a holistic thing. Okay, there's no magic ingredients. The individual needs to realize that we ourselves actually in charge of our life. Okay, we have to take the responsibility for it. Okay, so this actually goes back to the first slide. If you remember, when I say you want to look away, you have the power, right? You want to be ignorant, we have the power. Okay, but today, to take charge of the optimal health is not that today I share you how many very useful point. Today Lance share you some very something new that you never heard of. No, it's not all about that. It's all about ourselves, right? And that means embracing this holistic approach. Okay, and lastly, another quote that another point that I take from his teaching is that the best way to handle this disease is not the magical pill or the detox diet or anything, okay, but to bring back balance to our life. Okay, and that's actually will become the ultimate solution to prevent our health problem. Okay, and to bring back the balance to our life, right? I hope you guys can remember the green and the red bar that I shared with you just now. It's not just about cut, it's always about cut and add to the right equilibrium. Okay, so now just now I mentioned already, I will share with you what is actually the holistic. Of course, this is not covering everything, but we try to summarize into the most simple way that everyone can actually practice easily. So it is this concept of E.A.R.N, okay, E.A.R.N. So this E.A.R.N is also very easy, because you just think of, you want to earn a good health, you want to earn an optimal health. These are the E.A.R.N that we need to remember. So first is exercise. Okay, so when I say exercise daily, a lot of people freak out already. Okay, I don't have time for that lah. I'm so busy lah. My schedule so packed lah. Okay, so but here when we talk about exercise, right, it's as simple as moving around lah. Okay, don't just stick on your laptop when you work from home. Okay, when we are doing into our work, we also take some break to walk around in our house. We also move around. That is considered exercise as well. Okay, make sure the motor and our mechanism in our body is working, okay, on a daily basis. And second is attitude. Okay, so this is also something that in this E.A.R.N teaching, saying that attitude is very important, because attitude basically covers the psychology part of it. It also cover the mental parts of it. So it also, if let's say attitude is good, right, attitude is positive, right, it also help us to solve a lot of stress and also depression and also negativity in ourselves. And I don't have to give you a lot of example that you already might have read yourself online, right? So many articles and so many real life example that people who suffer from chronic disease, or they have this unfortunate cancer disease or what, they get recover as simple as because they have this positive attitude in their life. Okay, so I think this is something very powerful, and a lot of time it could be very magical as well. But it's very powerful, but it doesn't mean that it's very easy to practice it. So if let's say today we are a person who like to gossip, we like to look at a lot of rumors, we like to read all those negative news, then that might be a big challenge for us to practice this attitude. But if let's say we're able to do this, then great. Okay, and then what the other two is, third is basically to rest. Okay, if we all know, right, actually we are supposed to let our body rest on a daily basis. Okay, but nowadays a lot of us, we take away the rest time, and over midnight also we are still scrolling our phone, all that. Okay, I'm also guilty of that. Okay, but I think to actually achieve optimal health, right, we have to be aware that rest is something that we cannot avoid. Okay, we need to get adequate rest for our body so that it has the time to cool down, to do the repair works. Okay, otherwise, even when we have a very holistic diet, we have a very balanced diet also, your body don't have the time to do the repair work. All the nutrition will go into waste as well. Okay, so lastly, it's about nutrition. And okay, so when we talk about nutrition, it's all about balance. So now I hope everyone have a new concept of balance. Balance is not just about having enough, but also to get rid of the excess, and also to add on the shortage. Okay, and here I just particularly mention about good quality. Okay, so why I say good quality is important, because nowadays sometimes when you say, oh, when we have a chit chat with friend, okay, probably they say, oh, I'm taking a balanced diet every day. So when they show the picture, right, the zafan that they took, right, it's like so oily. Okay, of course got veggie, got chicken, got fish, got egg, right? But you look at all that, probably all is fried one. Okay, or probably all with very oily gravy. So that kind of balance, right, is not a quality balance. So we need to have balance, and at the same time, it's a good quality one. Okay, and this three-tier concept I actually took from the second generation of E.A.R.N. Just now we all know E.A.R.N. already, right? So E.A.R.N. is no longer here anymore. So the Nutrilite advisor head is actually succeeded by his second generation, which is Dr. Sam Rambeau, his son. Okay, so Dr. Sam Rambeau is also very particular in terms of optimal health. And he actually is one of the legend in terms of product of the product for Nutrilite, because he is actually one of the longest person who used the product. More than 70 years already he's using Nutrilite product, because he's so lucky, because his dad is the one who invented Nutrilite and come up with the first product, Double X, right? So he actually is having a lot of research in terms of optimal health. And what he actually share is like, today we want to start off to close up the gap. Okay, we want to add on the shortage that we have, right? There are three tiers that we can think of by priority. First priority tier, he said, will be the foundation nutrition. So when we talk about foundation nutrition, it will be protein, multivitamins, and also omega. Okay, these are the three foundation series that we have in nutrition. Okay, why carbohydrate is not inside Okay, you can check back our previous recording. We have shared that before already in our topic of 7 nutrition. Okay, so I think that will give you some answer to it. Okay, why is protein? Why is multivitamin? Why is omega? Okay, and second tier, he said once the foundation has been fulfilled, the second tier that we can consider to fill up the gap will be antioxidant nutrition. So when we talk about antioxidant nutrition, it will be vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B, all this, and also even some of it, including our concentrated fruit and veggie nutrition, all that. Okay, so why he mentioned about the importance of antioxidant and even put it at a tier 2, okay, is because free radical is one of the things that is commonly striking us every day. Okay, today now you're sitting here watching my sharing, also you're exposed to free radical because your screen emitting the blue light also will actually act as a free radical into our skin layer. Okay, same goes to UV light, radiation, and also all the fried fruit and also the other unstable processed food that we intake into our body. Okay, all that will act as the free radical. So we are getting more exposed to all these attack. So as per Dr. Sam Rambeau, he mentioned that antioxidant is so important in terms of, if I say even we're not exposed to all this, right, antioxidant is so good to help us in terms of anti-aging and in terms of having a good optimal health. Okay, and lastly, only third, he mentioned the third tier is nutrition that's specific to the individual concern. Okay, so when we talk about individual concern, probably some people already have built out a cardiovascular disease. Okay, they have high cholesterol, they have blood vessel blockage, start to have that kind of symptom, then probably we can actually add on some of the other nutrition which help in that area. Okay, for example, lecithin E that which can help to emulsify oil and so on. So those are the things that should be prioritized in this tier. Okay, as per what Dr. Sam have shared with us, which I fully agree on, because we need to have priority when we want to achieve optimal health. Okay, so again, these are the 4 things, right? E.A.R.N is very easy to do. It's very easy to remind us to do it on a daily basis. And yeah, let's do it together. And I hope my short sharing tonight will be able to give you an idea what is actually optimal health about. And my sharing will be followed by awesome sharing. I believe it will be an awesome sharing from Yi-Hui also. He will actually touch on the second tier, which is the antioxidant. And one of the most popular antioxidant nutrition that we have in Nutrition series is our Bio C+. So I'll pass it over to Yi-Hui.